Hi everybody. We're going to take a few minutes to work on the vowel counter, and we'll see if we can figure out how to get that working. That's the one that counts A, E, I, O, U's and Y's and tries to do a good job of doing that. So let me just kind of get things set up here. And again, this is a challenging little program, and there's lots of different ways that you can work on it. You can start at the most basic level and just look for the A, E, I, O, U situation, and then you can put those into a string. We'll take a look at both of those, and then you can try and figure out at the very end of it, you can figure out the Y situation and how that's all going to work. So yeah, let's jump in and take a look and see. So tell you what I'm going to do before I get too far into this. I'm just going to make a main program with some tests in here. Maybe I'll try something simple like bear. Bear is going to be the string that we use here. This will be a test. And I think that there's going to be 2 vowels with that. So name. Sorry, we'll get this all set up here. And what we'll do is we'll just print the, what are we going to call it? Count vowels. We'll send this up to the count vowel method that I'm about to write. And then we'll see what gets printed out. And we think it should probably be 2. So let's figure out that count vowels, def count vowels. And we're going to send in a word. And first of all, let's just check and see. I guess we're going to be counting, so I'll set up a counter variable. And we'll just do the most basic one. Let's go through all the letters in there. We'll say for I in range length of word, and we'll say if, well, this will be kind of painful, but if word I that we're checking is equal to A, or word that we're checking is equal to I, E, sorry, skipped one, or I'll skip over here, word I is equal to O, sorry, I skipped the I again, or word I is equal to O, or last one, word I is equal to U. If any of those happen, then we are going to add 1 to count. And then by the time we get done, we'll return count and we'll see what happens. And we think that if we run this with bear, we're going to get a 2 that's coming out. So let's run that and see what happens, vowel counter. And I got 2. So that's basically working. This is the painful way to do this, of course. We could definitely improve on this a little bit. So one of the things we could do is we could, let's go over here to vowels. Yeah, let's make a list of all the vowels. A, E, I, O, and U. Make a list of all those. And every time we go through, rather than this crazy statement here, we'll just say if word I is in vowels, then we'll add 1 to the counter. That's a little bit more of a Python way to do it. That in keyword there says, well, let's look at each of those, and if we get if it shows up in the vowel list, then we'll add 1 to counter, and we'll double check and see if that's still working for us. Yeah, it's still working just the way we want it to. I guess at some point I want to do a few more tests here. Just testing bear is not enough. So I'm going to set up a whole series of tests here. Let's do this. So tests will be equal to, and then I'll just set up I'll do bear, and I think that I should be getting an answer of 2 there. So I'm going to make that one of my tests. This is going to be that bear and 2 is a short list. First item on the list is the word. The second item is the number of vowels I think it should have. And then my next test, I'm going to try out apex. I'm just making up some words here. I think there should also be 2 vowels there. I'm going to try tryst. Tryst is a tough one because it's got a vowel right in the middle there, and that's acting as a vowel sound. And I don't really have the ability to work on that yet, to count Y's yet, but I'm going to get there in just a moment. Let's try yesterday. That's, I'm be consistent here. Yesterday, and that's going to be, let's see, an E and an E and an A. Don't have to count the Y's, so there's 3 vowels there. And then what about silly? Let's try silly. That actually has two vowels in it. The I and the Y at the end is a vowel sound. It takes up a syllable there, silly. So two, and let's try one more. How about cry? Cry just has one in it. It's that Y. Is that enough? I think that'll be enough for us. And so I'll close out my list of lists here. So I've got a bunch of tests. And then I can do this, for test in tests. This will go through and get each one of those. And I can print. I'll print out the word, which is test 0. I'll print out test 1, which is also how many vowels I'm expecting. And I'll also say counted, and then I'll print out the result of the count vowels method, where I'll send in what word? The test 0 word. I'll print all those out and we'll see what happens. We'll see if I get a series of results over here. So bear 2 counted 2, apex 2 counted 2, trist 1 counted 0, so that's my problem with the y's there. Yesterday has 3, I counted 3. Silly has 2, I only counted 1, I only counted the I. And cry, I was expecting 1 and I actually got 0. So I've got to fix some of the numbers here, and that's going to be me trying to get this whole Y thing happening. I've got a nice set of tests there. I'm going to do one more just because it's a little bit tricky. Let's do yttrium as a chemical element. And it starts with a Y, so that makes it a little bit tricky. So we've got the Y there, and then IU. So we've got yttrium. We've got 3 vowels in that. And again, I'm pretty sure my program as written is not going to be able to get that. 3 counted 2. It only counted out the I and the U. So let's see if we can figure out what's going on with this counting Y thing. So first of all, if my word is in those, if my word sub I is in those standard vowels, then it's not a problem. But let's take a look and see what if it's not in those standard vowels. Let's do an elif. Elif, what if word I is equal to Y? Then I have a question of whether or not I'm going to count it, and I kind of need to dig into the investigation here, dig in a little bit deeper. So what's happening here? If it's at the beginning of the word and it's got a consonant after it, I think, there's not too many. Here's a Y at the beginning and it's got a vowel, and we don't count that. Yeah is just one vowel there. Yeah is a single syllable, one vowel. We wouldn't count it there, but here at the beginning, followed by a consonant, we would count it. So let me see if that's the case. So if word's a Y, and now I'm digging in, if I is 0, which means it's at the beginning of the word, and word I plus 1, assuming there's a word I plus 1, is, well, let's see, it needs to be not a vowel, it needs to be a consonant. And I don't want to have a consonant list, but I could say if word I plus 1 is not in the vowels. Sometimes we check to see if it's in the vowels, but here I'm looking to see if it's not in vowels. We can use that logic. So if I'm at the beginning of the word and the next letter is not in the vowels, then I think it's going to be, I'm going to have to count it. But I've got some other things I could check as well. So let me keep on going. Or what's another thing that I could check for? What if it's at the end? Like I've got yesterday here versus cry. If it's at the end and I've got a vowel before it, I'm not going to count it because A is, I've already got the A in there. But Y all by itself with a consonant in front, that also is going to be something I need to count. So how can we tell? How can we count a Y that's at the end of the word that has a consonant in front of it? I think it's pretty much the same thing as what we had before. So if the position I is equal to the length of the word minus 1, because remember in a word, if we've got 5 letters, the last word, the last letter in the word is 4, 0 to 4. So if we're at the end of the word and the letter before this and word I minus 1, the letter before this is not in the vowels, then we're going to have to count it. And one more, let's try one more case here. What if, that's a possibility. Or what if I'm in the middle here with this tryst here? If I've got a Y surrounded by consonants, then I think I have to count that as well. So how do I describe that? I guess, well, I've already determined that it's a Y, so I just need to check if the letter before this is a consonant. In other words, if word I minus 1 is not in vowels, which would mean it was a consonant, and word I plus 1 is not in vowels, that means it's going to be a consonant. And so if I've got a consonant before and a consonant afterwards, then I think that means that I have to count this vowel sound. So if any of those are true, count is equal to count plus 1. So that will take care of all the Y situations, I think. We'll have to double check and see what's going on here. We'll do some tests and see how this works out. I'm a little bit concerned maybe about my grouping on these Booleans. So here's a situation that I'm surrounding in parentheses. Here's the second situation. I think I'm going to surround these in parentheses as well. And then the third possibility is this situation. So I'm going to put those in parentheses as well. It might work out okay without those parentheses, but just to be safe, sometimes those Boolean errors can be pretty tricky to find. I'm going to go ahead and group those there. Well, let's see what happens. I'm going to go over here and try running my tests and see what happens now. Bear 2, Apex 2, Tryst got 1, Yesterday 3, Silly 2, Cry got 1, Yttrium 3. I got incredibly lucky. / I've written this program before, so I know a little bit about what I'm thinking about here. This is a tricky problem, trying to figure out when a Y counts and when it doesn't. But that, I think, is probably as good as we're going to get on a first pass through this. All right? Hope that helps.